The scene inside Cleveland Browns Stadium on Sunday night didn't feel like a celebration. It felt like a reckoning. The scoreboard said the Browns had beaten the Green Bay Packers 13-10, but the energy in the building told a very different story. Fans weren't chanting for their team, they were chanting for change. "Start Shedeur!" erupted from the upper deck, rolled through the dog pound, and even echoed from the corporate suites. What should have been a moment of triumph after a clutch, game-winning 55-yard field goal quickly turned into a public indictment of the Browns' entire offensive philosophy. Inside the organization, the atmosphere was even more volatile. Multiple reports claim team owner Jimmy Haslam stormed out of his suite immediately after the final whistle, demanding explanations for why Shedeur Sanders, the franchise's most exciting draft pick in years, never saw the field. For Haslam, this wasn't a victory. It was malpractice disguised as success. His team survived by 3 points against a Packers defense ranked near the bottom of the league. There was no offensive rhythm, no explosive plays, no sense of direction, just desperation and a prayer that Andre Smith's right leg would save them from an embarrassing home loss. Meanwhile, the most talented quarterback on the roster stood on the sideline, helmet in hand, clipboard tucked under his arm, watching another week of his rookie season vanish into wasted potential. Sanders, who dominated the preseason and electrified fans with his combination of arm strength and mobility, reportedly asked coaches before the game to give him just a handful of packages: red zone plays, wildcat formations, anything to spark life into a stagnant offense. Head coach Kevin Stefanski refused. And that's where this story turns from frustrating to combustible. Fans can stomach losing if they see a plan, a vision, a path forward. What they cannot accept is wasting the prime of a championship-caliber roster while sticking with a quarterback who looks more like a game manager than a game changer. Sunday night wasn't just about winning or losing. It was about a fan base, a locker room, and perhaps even an owner reaching their breaking point. Strip away the final score, and what you see is a Browns offense that looked completely lifeless for 3 straight quarters. Joe Flacco finished with just 142 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 back-breaking interception that nearly handed the Packers control of the game. The stat sheet reads like a cautionary tale: 0 points through 3 quarters, a 31% third down conversion rate, and a complete absence of explosive plays. This wasn't just a bad offensive performance. It was an indictment of a system that refuses to adapt. Every possession felt predictable. Run on first down, check down on second, third and long throw short of the sticks. Green Bay's defense, which entered the game ranked near the bottom of the league against the pass, looked like the 2000 Ravens because they didn't have to respect anything downfield. Flacco's lack of mobility allowed the Packers to collapse the pocket with minimal blitzing, forcing quick throws and keeping the ball in front of them. The only reason Cleveland even had a chance to mount a comeback was because of the defense. Grant Delpit's brilliant fourth-quarter interception set the Browns up at Green Bay's 28-yard line, finally giving them prime field position. And even then, it took 4 attempts for Flacco and the offense to punch it in from less than 30 yards out. The lone touchdown came on a short run by Quinshon Judkins, not because of creative play calling or quarterback brilliance, but sheer persistence at the goal line. After tying the game, Cleveland still couldn't generate a sustained drive on their own. The winning points came only because Andre Smith drilled a 55-yard field goal as time expired, bailing the offense out one last time. If not for a handful of defensive stands and that single special teams miracle, the Browns would be staring at a home loss to a team they should have handled easily. And all the while, Shedeur Sanders never left the sideline. No designed packages, no change-of-pace series, not even a single snap to shake things up. For a team that claims to be chasing a Super Bowl window, the product on the field felt like survival football, and survival football doesn't win in January. At the heart of this entire controversy is the quarterback position, and the clash between Joe Flacco's steady but limited game and Shedeur Sanders' untapped potential. Flacco represents the old guard, a traditional pocket passer, cerebral and methodical, but clearly past his physical peak. His arm strength isn't what it once was, his mobility is nearly gone, and his style of play forces the offense into short, conservative sequences that rely on perfection to succeed. In today's NFL, where defenses get faster and more creative every season, those margins are razor thin. Shedeur Sanders, by contrast, is the prototype for the modern quarterback. He has the arm to hit deep shots outside the numbers, the poise to stay calm under pressure, and the mobility to extend plays when protection breaks down. During the preseason, he showed flashes of exactly what the Browns are missing: quick-release throws in rhythm, improvised plays on the move, and an ability to keep drives alive with his legs. Every time he touched the ball, there was an electricity in the stadium that simply doesn't exist with Flacco under center. And this isn't just about style, it's about ceiling. Flacco might keep the Browns competitive in a low-scoring rock fight, but Sanders offers the possibility of an offense that can go toe-to-toe with Baltimore, Cincinnati, or Kansas City in a shootout. When you have elite weapons like Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, and David Njoku, settling for safe, check-down-heavy football is wasting premium talent. Kevin Stefanski's refusal to even experiment with Sanders is what has fans so furious. It's one thing to stick with a veteran when the team is winning comfortably. It's another to ride him while your offense sputters week after week. The front office drafted Sanders because they believed he could be the future of the franchise. Right now, the future is holding a clipboard while the present is barely scraping by. This is why every narrow victory feels more like a ticking time bomb than a relief. Fans don't just want to win, they want to see the team evolve. And until Sanders gets his chance, it feels like the Browns are standing still while the rest of the league speeds past them. To understand why Shedeur Sanders hasn't seen meaningful snaps, you have to look at Kevin Stefanski's coaching DNA. Stefanski is a system coach to his core. He believes in structure, timing, and mistake-free football above all else. His scheme is West Coast at heart, built on short passes, play action, and scripted drives that reward precision over improvisation. In Stefanski's mind, inserting a rookie quarterback into that system without months of mental reps is a recipe for turnovers and chaos. That philosophy has worked in the past. Stefanski revived Baker Mayfield's career just enough to win the Browns their first playoff game in decades. He helped turn Kirk Cousins into a consistent top 15 quarterback during his time in Minnesota. But there's a flip side to that discipline: rigidity. Stefanski's critics argue that he's so committed to his playbook that he fails to adapt when circumstances change. When the offense struggles, instead of breaking tendencies, he doubles down on what's familiar. Inside the Browns building, this has created a culture where playing time feels earned only through mastery of Stefanski's system, not necessarily by who gives the team the highest upside. Veterans love it because it rewards experience. But younger players, especially a quarterback like Sanders, can feel like they're being held back by invisible red tape. It's less about talent and more about proving you can color inside the lines. The problem is that the NFL is moving in the opposite direction. The most explosive offenses, Kansas City, Buffalo, Houston, thrive because they empower their quarterbacks to create outside of structure. Coaches build around what their young stars do well rather than forcing them to fit into a predetermined mold. Stefanski's refusal to bend risks alienating not just Sanders, but a locker room that sees what's happening on the field and knows what this rookie is capable of bringing. Culture matters in football, and right now, Cleveland's feels divided. Half the team is grateful for the stability Stefanski provides. The other half is ready to see if Sanders can inject some badly needed life into this offense. That tension isn't going away, it's building with every passing week. While the Browns narrowly escaped Green Bay with a win, inside the locker room, relief was tempered by frustration. Veterans aren't blind, they see the stagnation week after week. Myles Garrett, known for his leadership, reportedly advocates privately for Sanders' promotion, recognizing the spark he brings. Amari Cooper and David Njoku share similar concerns, understanding that their statistical production and impact are limited by a conservative offense anchored by an aging quarterback. The whispers in the locker room aren't quiet anymore. They're growing louder, reaching a point where ignoring them becomes impossible. Outside the stadium, fans have made their voices unmistakably clear. "Fire Stefanski! Start Sanders!" has become the rallying cry echoing from the dog pound to the upper decks and even corporate suites. Social media exploded within minutes of the final whistle, trending nationally. Clips of fans chanting and protesting spread like wildfire, with thousands sharing videos of jerseys burned in frustration or fans screaming toward the field. Organized petitions demanding quarterback change have gained traction across Ohio, capturing national attention. The fan base, long known for loyalty, is now testing the patience of an organization that has repeatedly chosen caution over innovation. Media reaction only amplifies the pressure. ESPN's Stephen A. Smith labeled the coaching decisions malpractice of the highest order, while analysts like Dan Orlovsky and Colin Cowherd questioned the Browns' championship aspirations if Sanders remained benched. Every highlight, every stat, every play is dissected and broadcast to millions. Local radio shows are dominated by frustrated callers demanding change, while national outlets run daily segments analyzing the quarterback controversy. Even social media sentiment, which often ebbs and flows, has shifted decisively. Celebrating the narrow victory has given way to calls for accountability. The combination of internal tension, fan activism, and media scrutiny is creating a perfect storm. The team's culture is at a crossroads. Continue with the status quo and risk further alienation, or make the bold move to integrate Sanders, signaling a commitment to evolution and championship-level ambition. Every practice, every film session, and every press conference is now under microscopic observation, not just by insiders, but by a national audience invested in the story. The Browns' organization is no longer just managing a football team, it's managing expectations, egos, and perception. How they respond could define not just this season, but the trajectory of the franchise for years to come. The clock is ticking. The quarterback controversy isn't just a football problem, it's a business problem, and the numbers tell a story almost as dramatic as what's happening on the field. Television ratings have already shown a clear difference. Browns games featuring Shedeur Sanders in preseason drew significantly higher viewership compared to games led by Joe Flacco. Advertisers notice these patterns. Sponsors want their logos in front of engaged audiences, not passive ones enduring predictable drives and three-point victories. Merchandise sales mirror the same trend. Flacco jerseys move slowly, while Sanders' gear, even without meaningful snaps in the regular season, has generated spikes in demand. Social media engagement follows suit. Content featuring Sanders spreads faster and garners more interaction than highlights of the veteran starter. In short, Sanders isn't just a quarterback, he's a brand accelerator. Season ticket renewals are another metric under pressure. Fans who feel stifled by a stagnant offense are less likely to commit financially for the next year. Concessions, parking, and in-stadium spending subtly reflect this discontent. Local businesses, too, watch carefully, knowing that high-energy crowds translate directly into revenue for nearby restaurants, bars, and shops on game days. Corporate sponsorships are sensitive to perception. If the Browns appear unwilling to maximize their talent and put on an entertaining product, renewal negotiations may stall or involve financial concessions. From a marketing standpoint, Sanders represents untapped potential. His skill set, personality, and charisma make him a natural focal point for campaigns, endorsements, and national storylines. Every week he remains on the sideline is a missed opportunity to elevate the Browns' profile beyond regional fandom. Modern sports franchises rely as much on narrative and excitement as they do on wins and losses. Letting a player like Sanders sit idle undermines that balance. Ultimately, the Browns' current conservative approach threatens both competitive and financial returns. Fans, media, and sponsors alike are responding not just to the results on the field, but to the perception that the franchise is failing to seize an obvious opportunity. Ignoring the quarterback controversy risks not only immediate revenue loss but long-term brand erosion, affecting ticket sales, merchandise, media contracts, and sponsorship partnerships for years to come. The numbers are clear. To maximize both performance and financial upside, the Browns cannot afford to leave Sanders on the sidelines much longer. The Browns' narrow escape against Green Bay was more than a warning. It was a preview of the challenges that lie ahead. Week 4 brings the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team boasting one of the league's most creative and relentless defenses. T.J. Watt's ability to generate pressure without blitzing, Cam Hayward's interior disruption, and Cameron Sutton's lockdown coverage create a nightmare scenario for a quarterback like Joe Flacco, who lacks mobility and elite arm strength. Every predictable dropback and checkdown becomes an opportunity for the Steelers to exploit weaknesses. Week 6 is no easier. The San Francisco 49ers present an all-around defensive juggernaut. Their pass rush requires quarterbacks to move and make quick reads. Their secondary shuts down intermediate and deep routes with precision, and their linebackers add versatility in coverage and run support. For Cleveland, a static, conservative offensive approach against such a unit is a recipe for failure. The stakes are not just one game. The Browns are fighting for division relevance. The AFC North is stacked. Cincinnati's Joe Burrow is back from injury. Baltimore's Lamar Jackson combines elite mobility with improved passing, and Pittsburgh is surging early in the season. Every week the Browns cling to Flacco. They risk falling behind teams maximizing modern quarterback play. Championship windows are finite, and the margin for error is razor-thin. A single loss can shift playoff positioning, influence tiebreakers, and alter the entire postseason landscape. The organization cannot afford to treat these games as opportunities for cautious experimentation. The cost of mismanagement is too high. Off the field, the pressure intensifies. National media coverage turns every performance into a referendum on coaching philosophy. Fans organize protests outside the facility, social media amplifies criticism, and ownership scrutiny grows daily. Every offensive drive, every third down attempt, and every quarterback decision is analyzed under a microscope. Week 4 and Week 6 aren't just games. They are tests of the organization's willingness to adapt and embrace the talent they have. Ultimately, the stakes could not be higher. The Browns have a championship-caliber roster, but talent alone doesn't guarantee success. Against elite defenses and division rivals, only a quarterback who can create, improvise, and elevate the offense will keep Cleveland competitive. For Shedeur Sanders, this is the moment that could define his rookie season and potentially the franchise's trajectory for years to come. The clock is ticking, and the consequences of inaction are painfully clear. While the mounting pressure to play Shedeur Sanders is undeniable, it's important to examine why Kevin Stefanski and the front office might hesitate. From a coaching perspective, Sanders is still a rookie, and inserting him mid-season carries inherent risks. NFL defenses are faster, more complex, and less forgiving than the collegiate level. A single misread could result in turnovers, stalled drives, and even a loss that undermines team confidence. Stefanski's system relies on timing and precision, and rushing a quarterback into it without full preparation could disrupt more than it solves. From a strategic standpoint, Flacco offers a known quantity. The team understands his tendencies, strengths, and weaknesses. While his ceiling is limited, his floor is steady. He won't make game-mending mistakes under moderate pressure. Switching to Sanders introduces uncertainty. The offense might experience growing pains, miscommunication on routes, or errors in high-pressure situations. In a league where playoff positioning can hinge on a single possession, coaches and executives weigh the cost of experimentation heavily. There's also the organizational and cultural dimension. Promoting Sanders abruptly could strain locker room dynamics. Veterans who have earned their roles under Stefanski's philosophy may feel their authority and contributions are being undervalued. Even subtle shifts in team hierarchy can impact morale, especially on a team where cohesion is critical for championship aspirations. The front office must consider not just raw talent, but the interpersonal consequences of immediate change. Finally, there's the optics of failure. If Sanders struggles in his first meaningful snaps, criticism will be swift and unrelenting. Media narratives could frame the move as reckless, and ownership could face public backlash for mismanaging a high-profile rookie. For Stefanski, acknowledging Sanders as the superior option is effectively admitting a flaw in his judgment, which challenges professional pride and long-standing coaching philosophy. These counterarguments explain why the Browns are caught in a bind. The obvious upside of Sanders is weighed against preparation, cohesion, and reputational risks. Every day the decision is delayed, pressure mounts, but hesitation is not without logic. The challenge for Cleveland is to balance calculated risk with competitive necessity, to determine if the reward of dynamic, game-changing quarterback play outweighs the safety of a conservative approach. The Browns now face a fork in the road, and every choice carries high stakes. One scenario is the continuation of the status quo. Flacco remains the starter, Stefanski sticks to his conservative system, and Sanders continues his development quietly on the sidelines. This approach minimizes immediate risk, preserves locker room hierarchy, and protects Stefanski's professional reputation. But the downside is glaring. The offense stagnates, fan frustration deepens, media scrutiny intensifies, and the team risks falling behind division rivals maximizing their quarterback advantages. Over time, the cost may outweigh the perceived safety. Another scenario is a gradual integration of Sanders. Here, the rookie could be inserted in select packages, red zone plays, wildcat formations, or specific drives designed to exploit defensive weaknesses. This mitigates risk while giving Sanders live game experience and allows the coaching staff to gauge his adaptability under pressure. Fans would see progress without fully overhauling the offense overnight, and the front office could claim a measured, strategic approach. This approach aligns with development goals, but may still frustrate supporters who want immediate full-time action. The most radical but potentially most rewarding scenario is an immediate full promotion. Sanders becomes the starter, Flacco assumes a backup or mentorship role, and the offensive system adjusts to leverage Sanders' mobility, arm strength, and improvisational skills. This would energize the locker room, activate fan enthusiasm, and create a true championship-level offense capable of competing with elite AFC North rivals. The risk, however, is undeniable. Miscommunication, rookie errors, or initial struggles could be exploited by opposing defenses, and media criticism would be relentless if the plan backfires. What would work best depends on balancing competitive urgency with organizational caution. Sanders' unique skill set addresses the team's biggest deficiencies: lack of explosive plays, predictability, and limited third-down conversions. Even a partial integration, if executed intelligently, could change game outcomes and revitalize the offense. For maximum impact, Cleveland must combine strategic planning, targeted packages, and clear communication across coaching, front office, and player leadership. Ultimately, the Browns' future hinges on decisiveness. Waiting too long risks squandering the rookie's developmental window, while bold action could redefine the franchise's trajectory. The right balance of risk and reward, whether gradual or immediate, is essential for Cleveland to compete at a championship level.
If you enjoyed today's breakdown and want to keep up with all the drama, trades, and behind-the-scenes action in the NFL, then don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps this channel grow and lets us know you love this kind of content. And hey, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with your friends, your group chats, or anyone who loves football as much as you do. The more the conversation spreads, the better it gets. Most importantly, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and tap the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss when we drop fresh stories, wild rumors, or breaking updates that the mainstream media won't talk about.
represents franchise salvation sitting unused on bench. His arm talent exceeds Flacco's diminished capabilities significantly. His mobility adds crucial dimension missing from current offensive philosophy. His leadership presence energizes teammates naturally. His developmental timeline requires immediate utilization, maximizing potential. Every day Sanders remains benched represents organizational failure, competitive disadvantage, championship opportunity wasted. Every game Flacco starts demonstrates coaching stubbornness over logical evaluation. Every narrow escape that could have been dominant victory exposes systematic underachievement through personnel mismanagement. Cleveland faces franchise-defining crossroads following Sunday's narrow Green Bay escape. Continue current trajectory accepting offensive mediocrity, risking competitive decline, alienating frustrated fan base, or integrate Sanders immediately, maximize organizational talent, embrace championship aspirations, demonstrate courageous leadership. The decision approaches rapidly. The pressure intensifies continuously. The solution remains obvious. Start Shedeur Sanders. Save Cleveland's season. Restore organizational credibility. Maximize championship potential. Kevin Stefanski still doesn't get it. But Cleveland Browns and their suffering fan base deserve better than stubborn coaching philosophy preventing obvious competitive upgrade. Time for change. Time for Sanders. Time for championship football returning to Cleveland. The narrow escape against Green Bay was a warning shot. Next time, Browns might not survive their coaching staff's systematic dysfunction. Shedeur Sanders remains ready. Cleveland's future hangs in balance. Kevin Stefanski's stubbornness threatens everything. The choice seems obvious to everyone except the person making it. But wait, there's more brewing beneath the surface that nobody's talking about publicly. Sources within the Browns organization reveal deeper psychological warfare happening between coaching staff and front office regarding Sanders' future. According to multiple insiders, Monday's staff meeting erupted into heated exchanges when offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey allegedly confronted Stefanski directly about continued Sanders benching. The conversation reportedly became so intense that position coaches intervened, fearing permanent relationship damage between coordinator and head coach. Here's what makes this absolutely explosive. Dorsey supposedly presented statistical breakdowns proving Sanders outperformed Flacco in every measurable category during practice sessions. Completion percentage in red zone situations, Sanders 78%, Flacco 61%. Yards per attempt on intermediate routes, Sanders 8.4, Flacco 6.1. Quarterback rating under pressure, Sanders 94.2, Flacco 67.8. Third down conversion rate during scrimmage scenarios, Sanders 68%, Flacco 41%. These numbers don't lie, yet Stefanski allegedly dismissed them as practice statistics lacking game experience context. The psychological profile reveals everything wrong with traditional coaching mentality. Stefanski represents old-school NFL thinking where veteran status supersedes obvious talent discrepancies. His coaching philosophy prioritizes paying dues over maximizing competitive advantages. This antiquated approach worked during different NFL eras featuring slower game speeds, simpler defensive schemes, reduced emphasis on quarterback mobility. Modern professional football demands dynamic adaptability, explosive playmaking, improvisational skills, exactly Sanders' strengths. Consider developmental psychology surrounding quarterback transitions. Elite prospects require immediate validation through meaningful playing time. Sanders entered NFL with unprecedented collegiate success, national championship experience, pressure situation excellence. 6 months of professional preparation without substantial game action creates psychological frustration, competitive stagnation, confidence erosion. Every week spent holding clipboard represents irreplaceable developmental opportunity lost forever. The ripple effects extend beyond Cleveland's organization toward league-wide quarterback evaluation processes. Other franchises observe Brown's situation intensely, recognizing potential competitive advantage through Sanders' acquisition. Trade scenarios multiply continuously as teams evaluate their own quarterback limitations. The irony becomes undeniable. Cleveland possesses solution to their offensive struggles while simultaneously creating trade opportunity for division rivals seeking quarterback upgrades. New England Patriots reportedly expressed serious interest during informal league conversations. Bill Belichick's organizational philosophy emphasizes maximizing underutilized talent, especially quarterback prospects facing developmental obstacles. His track record with young quarterbacks, systematic development programs, competitive utilization strategies could transform Sanders into franchise cornerstone immediately. Meanwhile, Cleveland wastes identical opportunity through coaching stubbornness. Here's where organizational psychology becomes absolutely fascinating from competitive intelligence perspective. Division rivals study Brown's dysfunction methodically, designing strategic approaches exploiting quarterback limitations. Baltimore Ravens defensive coordinator specifically game plans against immobile quarterbacks, utilizing complex blitz schemes, coverage rotations, pressure concepts. Pittsburgh Steelers defense features personnel perfectly suited, neutralizing static pocket passers through consistent pressure, elite coverage, situational versatility. Cincinnati Bengals coaching staff allegedly expressed private satisfaction regarding Browns quarterback mismanagement during recent coordinator meetings. Their defensive preparation becomes significantly easier facing predictable offensive philosophy, limited quarterback mobility, reduced explosive play potential. When division competitors celebrate your personnel decisions, organizational evaluation requires immediate reassessment. The fan psychology reaches unprecedented levels of frustration following Sunday's narrow escape. Local sports radio hosts report call volume increases of 340% Monday morning, with 89% of conversations demanding Sanders' promotion. Cleveland.com comment sections explode with organized campaigns supporting quarterback change. Facebook Browns groups coordinate petition drives, collecting thousands of signatures within hours. Season ticket holder Michael Rodriguez organized grassroots movement outside First Energy Stadium featuring coordinated free Shedeur demonstrations. His group, initially 12 frustrated fans, expanded to 847 participants within 72 hours through social media organization. "We're not asking for miracles," Rodriguez explained during local television interview. "We're demanding common sense. Start the better quarterback. Don't overlook financial implications mounting exponentially through fan alienation." Browns merchandise featuring Sanders jersey sales outpaced Flacco items by 680% margins, according to retail analytics. Local businesses report decreased foot traffic during game days, reflecting reduced fan enthusiasm for uninspiring offensive performances. Restaurant owners near stadium describe Sunday atmosphere as relieved rather than celebratory following narrow Green Bay victory. Corporate sponsorship concerns emerge privately within organization. Local businesses question advertising investment returns when team performance generates negative publicity, fan frustration, competitive mediocrity. National sponsors prefer dynamic storylines, explosive plays, marketable personalities over aging veterans managing conservative game plans. Sanders represents commercial goldmine being criminally underutilized. The psychological pressure intensifies exponentially as Week 4 approaches, featuring Pittsburgh Steelers defense designed specifically exploiting quarterback limitations. Steelers defensive coordinator studied Brown's offensive struggles extensively, identifying systematic weaknesses requiring quarterback mobility, arm strength, decision-making speed for neutralization. Their game plan reportedly focuses on pressure packages forcing Flacco outside pocket comfort zone, exposing reduced mobility, processing limitations. Pittsburgh's pass rush features TJ Watt generating 67% pressure rate against immobile quarterbacks compared to 34% versus mobile options. Cam Hayward's interior disruption affects pocket integrity significantly when quarterbacks cannot escape through scrambling. Alex Highsmith's edge rushing becomes exponentially more effective against static targets. This represents nightmare scenario for aging quarterback lacking dynamic escape mechanisms. Here's what terrifies Brown's coaching staff privately. Steelers' defensive success could expose offensive limitations so dramatically that continued Sanders benching becomes organizationally indefensible. Dominant defensive performance against Cleveland's predictable attack would generate national media attention, fan outrage, ownership intervention, coaching authority challenges. Stefanski's career reputation depends entirely on avoiding systematic embarrassment. The broader NFL community observes Brown's situation with mixture of fascination and bewilderment. Coaching colleagues privately question Stefanski's decision-making process, roster evaluation, competitive priorities. When obvious talent upgrades remain unused, professional credibility faces legitimate scrutiny from peers, media, organizational leadership. Consider agent representation dynamics complicating Sanders' situation tremendously. His representatives quietly evaluate developmental opportunities. Organizational commitment, long-term career trajectory protection. Elite quarterback prospects require immediate playing time, maximizing statistical production, market value, franchise positioning. Wasted developmental seasons affect contract negotiations, endorsement opportunities, career earning potential significantly. Agent conversations with other franchises increase frequency as Browns demonstrate apparent unwillingness utilizing Sanders effectively. Multiple teams express interest in acquisition scenarios, maximizing Sanders' immediate impact potential. These discussions create additional pressure on Cleveland organization. Develop Sanders properly or lose him to competitors willing providing developmental opportunities. The locker room psychology reveals fractures deepening beyond typical position competition. Veterans recognize talent discrepancies immediately, yet remain diplomatically silent publicly. Skill position players understand their statistical productions suffers through conservative offensive philosophy, prioritizing safe completions over explosive plays. Defensive players acknowledge increased field position pressure caused by offensive inconsistency. Wide receiver Amari Cooper's frustration becomes increasingly evident during practice sessions. His route-running precision, separation ability, contested catch skills deserve better utilization through dynamic quarterback play featuring intermediate accuracy, timing precision, explosive play creation. Sanders' arm talent, mobility, improvisational skills would maximize Cooper's remaining productive seasons significantly. Here's where organizational dysfunction reaches absolutely critical mass, requiring immediate intervention. Multiple authority figures pursue conflicting objectives, simultaneously creating unsustainable internal tension. Haslam demands championship-caliber results, justifying unprecedented financial investment. Barry requires draft validation through prospect development, competitive contribution. Stefanski needs philosophical consistency, maintaining coaching authority, personal reputation protection. These competing priorities create impossible situations where logical solutions become organizationally unacceptable due to personal implications. Success requires courageous leadership, acknowledging previous mistakes, prioritizing competitive excellence over individual ego protection, making difficult decisions despite short-term reputation concerns. The historical context provides sobering perspective regarding Brown's organizational psychology. Previous coaching regimes demonstrated identical patterns: obvious talent underutilization through systematic stubbornness, resistance toward necessary changes, competitive mediocrity acceptance over championship risk-taking. This suggests institutional problems transcending individual coaching failures, requiring comprehensive cultural transformation. Successful quarterback transitions demand organizational flexibility, coaching adaptability, front office support, ownership patience. Cleveland consistently demonstrates opposite tendencies: philosophical rigidity despite obvious limitations, systematic underutilization of premium draft investment, competitive stagnation through conservative decision-making. The media attention intensifies exponentially following Sunday's unconvincing victory demonstration. Organizational dysfunction. National analysts create daily content around Brown's quarterback controversy, comparing situation to historical coaching failures throughout NFL history. Local reporters cultivate sources throughout organizations seeking insider perspectives regarding Sanders' developmental progress, organizational commitment, future opportunities. ESPN's Get Up features Brown's quarterback situation prominently during Tuesday morning broadcast. Stephen A. Smith declares Stefanski's decisions coaching malpractice of highest order, while questioning organizational championship commitment. Dan Orlovsky provides technical analysis proving Sanders' superior skill set through film breakdown, statistical comparison, developmental timeline evaluation. Don't underestimate competitive implications extending beyond individual game outcomes toward divisional positioning, playoff implications, championship aspirations. AFC North features 3 teams with dynamic quarterback play: Baltimore's Lamar Jackson, Cincinnati's Joe Burrow, Pittsburgh's developing young talent. Cleveland's continued reliance on aging veteran creates systematic competitive disadvantage, requiring immediate correction. Division title implications matter tremendously for organizational credibility, fan satisfaction, commercial success. Wildcard positioning becomes exponentially more difficult when division rivals possess superior quarterback play, creating consistent offensive production, explosive play capability, clutch performance reliability. Browns face potential elimination from championship contention through stubborn personnel decisions. The psychology of organizational change reveals why Browns struggle adapting despite obvious solutions. Institutional inertia creates resistance toward necessary modifications, especially when changes require admitting previous evaluation errors. Strategic miscalculations, developmental mismanagement. Pride prevents logical assessment of competitive realities, talent discrepancies, championship requirements. Stefanski's coaching authority depends entirely on personnel decision validation, philosophical consistency, strategic success. Promoting Sanders immediately suggests previous quarterback evaluation errors, timeline miscalculations, systematic coaching failures. This psychological pressure creates organizational paralysis, preventing obvious competitive improvements. Here's what happens when franchise quarterback development meets institutional stubbornness. Elite prospects waste crucial developmental seasons through systematic underutilization, competitive advantages remain unexploited, championship opportunities disappear through conservative decision-making, prioritizing personal reputation over organizational success. Sanders possesses physical tools, mental processing, leadership qualities, competitive fire necessary for immediate NFL success. His collegiate production, pressure situation excellence, teammate respect, preparation habits demonstrate franchise quarterback characteristics. Yet, organizational dysfunction prevents proper utilization of obvious talent upgrade. The fan base psychology shifts dramatically from frustrated patience toward organized activism, demanding immediate changes. Social media campaigns coordinate petition drives, demonstration organization, merchandise boycotts, season ticket renewal threats. Local businesses express concerns regarding reduced foot traffic, decreased consumer enthusiasm, negative publicity affecting revenue streams. Browns backers organizations nationwide issue coordinated statements questioning organizational decision-making, competitive commitment, fan loyalty appreciation. These represent franchises' most devoted supporters, recognizing systematic mismanagement of obvious championship components. When core constituencies demand changes unanimously, organizational credibility requires immediate reassessment. Consider developmental timeline urgency from Sanders' career perspective. Elite quarterback prospects entering NFL possess limited window for maximizing earning potential, statistical production, franchise positioning, legacy establishment. Every season spent developing represents irreplaceable opportunity for competitive contribution, contract negotiation leverage, market value appreciation. Sanders entered professional football with unprecedented collegiate success, national championship experience, elite physical tools, franchise quarterback characteristics. 6 months of systematic preparation without meaningful playing time creates psychological frustration, competitive stagnation, developmental regression. His agent representation understands career trajectory protection, requiring immediate utilization or alternative opportunity exploration. The ultimate organizational question becomes undeniable. How many more narrow victories, unconvincing performances, offensive struggles, missed opportunities must Cleveland endure before acknowledging obvious solutions sitting unused on bench? How many championship seasons will be sacrificed through coaching philosophy stubbornness over competitive excellence priorities? Sunday's 13-10 escape against mediocre Green Bay team wasn't competitive triumph, but organizational warning. It exposed systematic limitations requiring immediate correction through talent maximization, strategic adaptation, courage leadership decisions. Every day Sanders remains benched represents competitive disadvantage, developmental opportunity waste, championship potential unfulfilled. The solution remains obvious, despite organizational resistance continuing. Start Shedeur Sanders immediately. Maximize franchise quarterback investment. Prioritize championship aspirations over coaching philosophy consistency. Demonstrate organizational commitment toward competitive excellence through courageous decision-making. Cleveland's future. Fan satisfaction, competitive credibility, championship potential depend entirely on these critical choices approaching rapidly. Time runs out for systematic dysfunction, stubborn resistance, obvious talent underutilization. But here's the bombshell nobody saw coming that changes everything. Late Tuesday evening, sources close to the situation report Jimmy Haslam conducted emergency conference call with NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell regarding organizational concerns surrounding Browns quarterback management. The conversation allegedly lasted 47 minutes, focusing on competitive integrity, developmental protocols, franchise stewardship responsibilities. While league office maintains official silence, insiders suggest Goodell expressed disappointment regarding obvious talent underutilization affecting league competitive balance. This represents unprecedented escalation. NFL ownership rarely involves commissioner office in personnel decisions unless systemic problems threaten league integrity, competitive fairness, commercial interests. Haslam's direct communication suggests frustration transcending typical organizational dysfunction toward potential franchise stewardship concerns, requiring external intervention. The psychological warfare intensifies exponentially within Brown's facility. As Week 4 preparation begins, Wednesday practice sessions reportedly featured visible tension between Stefanski and offensive staff regarding game plan preparation. Sources describe heated sidebar conversation between head coach and quarterbacks coach Drew Petzing, lasting nearly 15 minutes during individual drills. Players noticed immediately, with several veterans approaching coaching staff seeking clarification regarding preparation protocols. Sanders himself demonstrates remarkable professionalism despite mounting organizational chaos. His practice preparation remains flawless. His leadership interactions with teammates grow increasingly impressive. His media availability stays positive despite obvious frustration with continued benching. This maturity convinces veteran players that Sanders possesses mental toughness necessary for immediate starting role regardless of external pressure. Here's where competitive intelligence becomes absolutely crucial for understanding AFC North implications. Baltimore Ravens coaching staff allegedly assigned dedicated analysts studying Brown's offensive limitations, specifically targeting quarterback mobility restrictions, processing speed decline, arm strength reduction. Their defensive game plan features exotic pressure packages designed exploiting static pocket presence, forcing uncomfortable throws, creating turnover opportunities. Ravens defensive coordinator Mike McDonald reportedly expressed confidence regarding Week 8 matchup against Cleveland, citing systematic advantages created by Brown's quarterback situation. His defense ranks second nationally in pressure rate against immobile quarterbacks, featuring personnel perfectly suited neutralizing predictable passing attacks through coverage disguise, blitz timing, situational awareness. The ripple effects extend toward national television coverage, commercial partnerships, marketing opportunities being systematically squandered. CBS Sports executives reportedly expressed frustration regarding Browns games lacking compelling storylines, dynamic playmaking, marketable personalities. Sanders represents ratings goldmine, generating viewer interest, social media engagement, commercial appeal being criminally underutilized. Amazon Prime Video, featuring Thursday Night Football coverage, allegedly requested Brown's organization provide Sanders availability for promotional interviews, behind-scenes content, documentary opportunities. His compelling personal story, generational talent, competitive fire create perfect television content. Yet organizational dysfunction prevents proper utilization of obvious commercial advantages. Don't overlook veteran player psychology reaching breaking point following Sunday's narrow escape. Multiple sources confirm private team meeting Monday featuring frank discussions regarding organizational direction, competitive commitment, championship aspirations. Myles Garrett allegedly addressed entire roster, emphasizing need for organizational courage, making difficult decisions, prioritizing competitive excellence over conservative comfort zones. Amari Cooper reportedly spoke directly about offensive limitations affecting individual statistical production, team success, championship potential. His comments supposedly referenced other organizations maximizing receiver capabilities through dynamic quarterback play, explosive offensive systems, aggressive play-calling philosophies. The message rang clear. Cleveland wastes elite talent through systematic conservatism. The financial implications multiply exponentially as organizational dysfunction affects multiple revenue streams simultaneously. Season ticket renewal rates declined 23% compared to identical period last season. Corporate sponsorship negotiations face delays as businesses question marketing investment returns during organizational controversy. Local merchandise retailers report Sanders jersey sales outpacing all other Browns items by 780% margins, demonstrating fan appetite for change. Stadium concession revenue decreases 18% per game compared to previous season averages. Parking fees generate reduced income through decreased attendance figures. Hotel occupancy rates near stadium drop 31% during game weekends, reflecting diminished fan enthusiasm for uninspiring performances. These metrics represent systematic commercial decline requiring immediate correction through roster optimization. Here's what absolutely terrifies Browns leadership privately, and it should. Advanced analytics demonstrate clear correlation between quarterback mobility and offensive success rates throughout modern NFL. Teams featuring mobile quarterbacks average 387.2 yards per game compared to 312.7 for static pocket passers. Third down conversion rates improve from 41.3% to 58.9% with mobile options. Red zone touchdown percentage increases from 52.1% to 67.8%, featuring dynamic quarterbacks. Sanders possesses mobility rating of 91.7 compared to Flacco's 23.4. His scrambling ability creates 2.3 additional passing windows per dropback. His escape ability extends average play duration from 2.8 seconds to 4.6 seconds, allowing receivers additional separation time. These measurable advantages remain unused through organizational stubbornness, prioritizing veteran status over competitive optimization. The psychological profiling reveals deeper issues requiring immediate organizational intervention. Stefanski's coaching philosophy reflects generational divide between traditional NFL thinking and modern competitive realities. His background features conservative offensive systems, veteran quarterback management, systematic development timelines incompatible with contemporary league dynamics. Modern NFL success demands adaptive thinking, explosive playmaking, improvisational excellence. Defenses evolve continuously, featuring sophisticated pressure concepts, coverage disguises, situational versatility. Static offensive approaches face systematic destruction against elite defensive coordination. Sanders represents evolutionary quarterback combining traditional pocket presence with modern mobility, decision-making speed, explosive play creation. Consider division rival psychological advantages gained through Brown's quarterback dysfunction. Cincinnati Bengals coaching staff reportedly modified defensive preparation protocols, focusing additional resources toward other division opponents while minimizing Browns-specific game planning. Their defensive coordinator allegedly stated privately, "Cleveland's offense poses minimal explosive play threats with current quarterback limitations. Pittsburgh Steelers' defense features personnel perfectly suited, neutralizing immobile quarterbacks through consistent pressure, elite coverage, situational awareness. Their Week 4 preparation reportedly emphasizes aggressive blitzing schemes, confident their pass rush will consistently affect Flacco's reduced mobility, processing speed, arm strength. This represents systematic competitive disadvantage created through organizational personnel mismanagement." The ultimate organizational psychology question becomes unavoidable. Why does Browns leadership continue resisting obvious solutions sitting unused on bench? Why prioritize coaching philosophy consistency over competitive excellence? Why maintain failing strategies despite mounting evidence demanding immediate changes? Successful franchises demonstrate flexibility, courage, logical evaluation when facing systematic problems. They prioritize championship aspirations over personal reputation protection. They maximize talent utilization regardless of developmental timelines, veteran preferences, conservative comfort zones. Cleveland exhibits opposite tendencies consistently, creating predictable mediocrity despite possessing championship-caliber components. Here's where fan psychology transforms from frustration toward organized rebellion demanding immediate accountability. Local sports talk radio hosts report unprecedented caller unity regarding Sanders' promotion necessity. Cleveland Plain Dealer receives 2,847 letters demanding quarterback change within 48 hours. Social media hashtags fire Stefanski and start Shedeur trend nationally, generating 4.2 million impressions daily. Organized fan demonstrations expand rapidly throughout Northeast Ohio. Browns backers chapters coordinate simultaneous protests outside team facilities, demanding organizational accountability, competitive commitment, logical personnel decisions. These represent franchises' most devoted supporters, recognizing systematic talent waste threatening championship potential. The competitive timeline creates additional urgency requiring immediate resolution. NFL seasons feature limited games, determining playoff positioning, division titles, championship opportunities. Every game wasted through suboptimal personnel decisions reduces competitive margin for error significantly. Browns cannot afford continued offensive mediocrity while division rivals improve through dynamic quarterback play. Week 4 against Pittsburgh represents critical organizational moment. Dominant Steelers' defensive performance exposing Browns' offensive limitations could generate national media attention, fan outrage, ownership intervention impossible to ignore. Stefanski's coaching authority depends entirely on avoiding systematic embarrassment, requiring quarterback change acknowledgement. The broader NFL implications extend beyond Cleveland toward league-wide evaluation of quarterback development protocols, organizational decision-making, competitive integrity. Other franchises study Brown's situation intensely, recognizing systemic failures requiring avoidance through proper talent utilization, adaptive coaching philosophy, courageous leadership decisions. Commissioner Office allegedly monitors situation closely, concerned about competitive balance implications when obvious talent remains systematically underutilized. League integrity depends on franchises maximizing roster capabilities, maintaining competitive standards, providing entertaining product for commercial partners, fan satisfaction, media coverage quality. Don't underestimate psychological pressure mounting exponentially as organizational dysfunction attracts national attention, media scrutiny, peer evaluation. Every practice session faces intense observation. Every coaching decision generates immediate analysis. Every player comment receives microscopic examination for organizational insights, competitive implications, leadership evaluation. Sanders maintains remarkable composure despite unprecedented circumstances. His professional demeanor impresses veterans, coaches, media representatives observing daily interactions. His preparation habits demonstrate franchise quarterback characteristics transcending typical rookie expectations. His leadership qualities emerge naturally through team activities, position meetings, competitive situations. The financial pressure intensifies through multiple revenue streams simultaneously affected by organizational controversy. Television ratings for Browns games declined 19% compared to previous season averages when featuring Flacco. Social media engagement drops 34% during offensive possessions lacking explosive plays. Merchandise sales stagnate except Sanders-related items generating exceptional demand despite limited playing time. Corporate partners privately express concerns regarding marketing investment returns during organizational dysfunction. National advertisers prefer dynamic storylines, compelling personalities, competitive excellence over predictable mediocrity, conservative game management, aging veterans managing declining capabilities. Sanders' represents commercial goldmine being systematically wasted through coaching stubbornness. The ultimate question haunting Cleveland's organizational psychology. How many more championship opportunities will be sacrificed through systematic talent underutilization? How many more narrow victories masquerading as competitive success must be endured before acknowledging obvious solutions? How many more division titles will be lost to rivals maximizing quarterback advantages while Browns cling toward failing veteran strategies? Sunday's 13-10 escape against mediocre Green Bay wasn't triumph, it was organizational failure requiring immediate intervention. Every day Sanders remains benched represents competitive disadvantage, developmental waste, championship potential unfulfilled. Every practice repetition given to declining veteran over ascending superstar threatens franchise future, fan loyalty, competitive credibility. The resolution approaches rapidly whether Browns leadership acknowledges reality or continues systematic dysfunction. Week 4 preparation intensifies organizational pressure exponentially. Pittsburgh's defensive capabilities expose quarterback limitations dramatically. National media attention magnifies every decision. Fan activism escalates continuously. Ownership patience exhausts completely. Change becomes inevitable. The only question remaining: will Browns demonstrate organizational courage, making necessary personnel decisions immediately, or continue stubborn resistance until circumstances force intervention regardless of coaching preference? Philosophical consistency, personal reputation concerns. Shedeur Sanders waits ready. Cleveland's championship potential hangs in balance. Time runs out for Kevin Stefanski's systematic dysfunction. The narrow escape against Green Bay was final warning. Next time, Browns might not survive their coaching staff's organizational malpractice.